When you're feeling bored or blue, watch out for the munchies. They find ways of making you munch when you're not hungry.
Watch out for the munchies. Another nutritional message from the ABC Television Network.
The morning stream. I must break you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to TMS. It's the morning stream for Thursday, January 16th, 2025. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett.
Hello. Happy Thursday to you. We're on the downslope of the week.
Yeah, this is where things start to really go downhill, folks. Wendy comes in here, gives us a bunch of advice we probably won't follow. You know.
That's right. Yeah, apparently we had homework last week from Wendy that I forgot about.
Oh shit! No,
because it looks like we have a new thing anyway. We do,
but I wonder. I'm trying to prepare myself for the follow up. What the heck was it?
I don't remember. And Amy apparently has a response to last week's Wendy thing that might be. I'm assuming, Amy, there's something that we should read before. Well,
she sent.
Amy says she did the homework. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we have an email that may or may not be from her. That is this email. So I think we're covered.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Wendy sent that to me. Anyway, so yeah, she'll be here. That'll be fun. We'll learn some things, like what we were supposed to do and that we forgot. I mean, it wasn't the pinch the ear, breathe thing, sleep stuff, was it? Or was it?
No, but it was something where I could report on how well that's been working. I've been coming up with new lists in my head, because the rub in my ear doesn't work because it's so dry in Colorado. It's like sandpaper. You know, it basically, I just hear when I rub my ear.
Just wakes you up more.
Yeah. But I've been like, all right, let's see. Beatles songs. Let's start with A. How many Beatles songs can I come up with that begin with A? Across the Universe. And I Love Her. And then move on to B. And then da-da-da-da. And then C. And da-da-da-da.
So you're doing bands. That's interesting.
Yeah, we're doing music related things. Basically, as long as I'm not coming up with a story, that's the thing, right?
Yeah. Sometimes when I do the words, like, here's all the B words, I make stories. Yes. I start coming up with stories in my head, and that's not what we want.
Right. Like, all right, how many words can I come up with for the begin with the letter F? Freelance, failing,
yeah. And before,
forever.
Yeah, before you know it, you've made a story and you can't get it out of your head.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I think it depends on who you are, but for me, numbers are better. Mm-hmm. So counting actually helps me, or counting down from certain numbers, kind of like they have you do when you're in the hospital and you're getting put out for something.
Right. It's like the sheep thing.
Yeah.
Also, screens off. I've been reading instead of popping open a Simpsons episode.
Yeah.
Don't.
Is that helping you? Is that improving?
It's helping me. Yeah, it's definitely helping. Okay. And changing my environment. So not reading in bed, reading over on the couch, and then when I start getting tired, go to bed, because you don't want to teach yourself that the bed is a place to be awake.
Okay, well, if this is what she follows up on, I have been doing similar things, so we'll both have good answers. I think.
Very good.
Yeah,
excellent.
We're on the same page in case she launches at us with some idea we forgot about. I don't remember everything that she said.
I don't either.
I'm sure we'll be fine. A couple quick things. We got a note here to start things off from Liquid Mist.
Ooh, Liquid Mist. That's a reminder for me to turn on my...
Liquid Mist better, or is Misty Liquid? Which would you prefer?
Liquid Mist for sure.
All right.
Liquid Mist humidifies the air, and it was a good reminder for me to turn on my humidifier.
Because
it's 21% humidity in this office, which means that if I move a little bit and then touch something, it shorts it out.
Oh man, you get all shocky in there. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. So try to keep things up in the 27 to 30% range.
That's a great idea. It's good for your computer stuff too.
It is. It absolutely is. Yeah.
I think Misty Liquid implies like water in the cold.
I don't want the liquid to be misty. I want the mist to be liquidy.
Yeah. I think that's right. I vote for your candidate.
Cool. All right. Good.
Anyway, wrote in and said the following. It says, "Hey, Snoop and Big Boy. Was wondering if you had heard the Eminem songs that got leaked. If not, how do you feel about music leaks in general? Songs that were recorded, but the artist never intended them to be released. Thanks, Liquid Mist. P.S. Can we test the ship's phasers? Yes, we can in a moment, but first let's answer your question.
Yeah, that's a good. I have not heard the Eminem songs that leaked. I need to hear that. I am not in favor of music leaks. That feels, even if it's like a favorite band of mine, I feel like this is not the way that the band intended for my first experience with this song to be. Prince, this was a big thing with Prince, and why there were some releases that his estate came out with after he had passed away that the fans were like, I don't think this is doing anything to improve his legacy. So yeah, I am not in favor of. I'm not in favor of music leaks. I'm not in favor of like if a script gets leaked ahead of time because it never. There's so many things that happen to a script even while something is getting shot that you want to see what the director has in mind and not what. Nobody wants to see my first draft of anything. I don't want to see the first draft of something Christopher Nolan is putting together or.
I might want to see it after the fact, but I don't want to see it ahead of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I might even buy such a thing in retrospect, but I don't want to get it first. Yeah. Like if he has an Interstellar script that he just started penning on a napkin somewhere,
be cool to see.
That'd be awesome, but
sure.
I don't need it first. Give me Interstellar first and then say, now let's look at the humble roots of this story when he started it in a bar somewhere in England. That's interesting.
That's why I'm so torn on the post John Lennon Beatles stuff where they took his vocals and added their own stuff. Like I don't think John would have approved. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who'd be like, oh yeah, just take my vocals and go ahead and put whatever you want to them.
Sure.
See if you can get that Electric Light Orchestra guy to
Jeff Lynne, he'll help.
Something.
So wait, so hold on. No, so we're talking about we're talking about a distinction that's important to mention anyway, which is a posthumous leak versus the guy's still around kind of leak. So
yeah, but it still falls under this is something that the artist never intended to release or didn't intend to release in that form.
Well, in that case, it's 100% true if they're dead, right? Because we can't ask them. We have no idea what they're going to say.
We can never get their permission.
Right. But in Eminem's case, he may go, nah, I don't care.
True.
Whatever.
That's true.
Mom spaghetti, he'll just say. He may not care, but I'm not, and I don't know what his attitude on this particularly because I didn't know about it until we got this email. But I kind of feel the same, and I kind of feel this way across the board. I don't care if it's like video game leaks. I don't care if it's like any of that stuff. I just nobody asked for it. It just feels clandestine, and somebody's cheating.
Even if it is 100% completed, it's in the format that the person wants to release it. But they wanted to do something when they release it to kind of set it up or give it some fanfare or their own presentation. All of a sudden you're taking away their power and giving it to somebody who was able to hack into Universal or something, right?
Yeah.
What's that's
I assume it's usually on the inside, right? Somebody inside's doing
possibly, it. Yeah. Yeah, probably more than not.
Almost always in the games side, if something's leaked in gaming, it's almost always some employee who either screws up or did it on purpose or is disgruntled. There's always something like that. Or, there's rumor that with these changes over at Meta that somebody internally tried to leak a bunch of stuff and then got stopped right at the last second. There was some story floating around about this. So those things are usually, it's never like, oh, oops, it's out there. It doesn't happen that way. It's usually either somebody being a jerk or somebody trying to capitalize on it. And I don't like it either way. So
no.
So there's our answer. Don't do that.
There you go. That's a good question, though, Liquidness. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I wonder if...
now let's test the ship's phasers.
Yeah, let's do that, I promise.
Let's test the ship's phasers.
It's important to note, too, like Tupac, in his case, I think all his stuff, all his lost tracks and all that stuff, I think that was all approved by his family's whatever. So there are cases where if they had some sort of tacit pre-approval or somebody said before they died, you can always do whatever you want with my music, or it's up to you guys with the foundation or whatever. I mean, I think that stuff's fine. It's just, when you're doing it without someone's permission, I don't like that at all. I hate that. Yeah,
they released back the Prince thing, and this is one I'm kind of torn on because I'm really glad to have heard it, but I'm I don't know if he would have wanted me to hear it. They released the original demo versions he did of songs that he wrote for other people, like Manic Monday, Nothing Compares to You, The Glamorous Life by Sheila E. There's a few like that. I think something he wrote for the time. And they released those, and I'm wondering if, all right, is this a money grab, or, you know, Prince had all this time to release his version of Manic Monday. Why didn't he do it? Maybe he didn't want to take something away from the Bangles version or something.
Sure. I blame Morris Day. He did it. It's him.
Morris Day.
Yeah, he had no time, so he did
Me
it.
doing the bird. Have you heard?
Yeah, that was really good. That was as birdie as I'd ever seen anybody do.
His bird, yeah, exactly.
Very good bird.
Everybody, have you heard about a new dance, and it's called the bird.
That's right. Well, thank you, Liquid Mist. I'm sure if those tracks from Eminem are meant to be heard, we'll hear them at some point. But I'm not
Jerome,
seeking them
give
out.
me my mirror. Anyway, yeah. There's before we even get off I don't know why I wanted to just keep talking about Prince and the time, but there's I don't know if it's still going on, but if you get a chance while you're in Vegas for TMS Vegas, there's a really good Prince impersonator show called Purple Rain. REIGN, Purple Rain. And the dude who does it does an incredible impersonation of Prince. And 2/3 of the way through the show, he disappears in the back for what you think is going to be a costume change. And he comes back out, or you don't realize it's him because he looks so different, but he comes back out as Morris Day, and they do a couple time songs. And it's a complete transformation, and then the guy goes back and closes out as Prince with Purple Rain. It was incredible. It was a really, really good show.
I'm a bad fan for the time. I don't know. I couldn't tell you any of their songs.
There's 2 songs you know by the time.
I know I've heard them, but I don't know the names.
The Bird, and now just the Sexy People. What is that other time song that was like?
They had like 2 hits, right? Like 3 hits.
Jungle Love. Thank you, Xander.
Oh,
Jungle Love.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I know that one.
Girl, I want to know you. Jungle Love.
Yeah, that one I remember.
Yeah.
A couple of 2-hit wonders the time, and then what was the girl's name on the drums? What was her deal?
Sheila E was on the drums, but I don't know if did she do drums for the time? That was Not Was the dinosaur.
Oh, okay.
Walk the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Was Not Was.
Yeah. I can't remember. I just remember there was a lady standing and doing drums a lot.
And it could have been Apollonia. Yeah. Sheila E was a percussionist. Was Apollonia a percussionist as well?
I don't remember. Oh. That whole thing outside of Prince, I just didn't get it. Like his whole entourage
Wendy and Lisa Wendy and Lisa were great. I saw Apollonia. Oh no, I'm sorry. I saw Sheila E. Tour with when one of Ringo Starr's all-star bands came through Denver. What a freaking awesome lineup! We had Colin Hay from Men at Work. We had Paul Carrack from Squeeze, Mike and the Mechanics. Solo career. One of my favorite singers of all time. Sheila E., John Waite from the Babies, and from Missing You, the song from the 80s, no matter what my friends say.
Yeah.
Who else? God, it was like a truly an all-star band. It was just so great.
Was that just a one-off they did? They didn't.
There was a one-off tour that they did, yeah.
They do an album or anything?
No, he never does. It's like every year he would back in the day with Peace and Love, he would assemble a group of artists and then do a U.S. tour, or maybe even a world tour. Probably did UK as well, and then that would be it for that all-star band. And then he'd come around the next year with a different all-star band. But
so it wasn't like Traveling Wilburys or something like that, where they had
no, it was always a different lineup, and the way it would always be like half Ringo and Beatles songs and then half songs by each of those other artists. So you got The Glamorous Life, you got Missing You, you got Land Down Under and Who Can It Be Now, you got Tempted and How Long and The Living Years from Paul Carrack. I mean, God, what a great
that's pretty awesome. Yeah, what a cool show. That's a great one to have under your belt.
Yeah, for sure.
Very cool. We got one here from Kelly LC, we'll say. I don't want to give their full name. Okay. It looks like it'd be easy to find them if you wanted to find them.
Yeah.
It's a
lot of information.
It's a recommendal for us. Says, hello, long-time listener since the beginning. Just wanted to recommend a show I stumbled onto on Prime. It's called On Call. Looks like the creator of Law and Order developed it. It was really well written, and the story is well done for an 8-episode, 30-minute show. Also, 30-minute episodes. Interesting. I was tired of cop shows, but this one is different and a good watch. Keep up the fun and silly show. I enjoy it every day getting ready for work, says Kelly.
Oh, I heard about this. This is Don Belisario's daughter, Troyan.
Let's see. What's it called again? The Call or On Call?
On Call, yeah. Why did I think this was British? I thought this was this is a Dick Wolf joint? No, it's not.
Dick Wolf. Who did?
Oh yeah, Dick Wolf. It is Dick Wolf.
So it is Law and Order guy, Dick Wolf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see here.
Executive producer, and it looks like it's created by his son Elliot Wolf.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Review well. Let's see. Yeah, pretty well.
Eric LaSalle. Look at that from ER and
yeah, dude. Sergeant Lassman.
Coming to America. Yeah.
Lori
Loughlin.
I'll watch.
Are we okay to like Lori Loughlin again?
What was her deal? I don't remember.
She was involved in the college scandal, wasn't she, or no? Yeah, she was involved in the college.
Oh, she's married to Lundergaard. Macy, William H. Macy.
No. That's the other. That's the other one who got.
Huffman,
Felicity Huffman. She was another one that was.
Gotcha. Yeah. I don't remember her being. I didn't know Lori Loughlin was involved. I had no idea.
Yeah.
She's in a lot of my wife's Christmas things.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
She has a standing. She has a parking spot with her name at the Hallmark Channel filming area.
Yeah, I would see this. This looks great. On Call.
Looks really good. Yeah.
Episodes. Let's see here. They say how long they are. Are they really 30 minutes apiece?
30 minutes.
That's so
Crazy.
Weird for a drama, like a cop drama.
It is for a Dick Wolf thing for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well,
yeah, there we go. It is the first series from Dick Wolf to be set in half-hour formats with the running time being 24 minutes. So even 30 minutes, knowing it's going to be streaming, 30 minutes based on typical commercial. I guess if it's on Prime, we've get all the commercial interruptions on Prime.
I don't get any of those. I paid the $2.
Oh, you bought the upper tier?
Yeah, it's only $2. I was like, I hate that they're making me do it because I pay for Prime every year, and it shouldn't be another $2 for no ads. I hate it. I want to pee all over Bezos and his people for it. But I'm like, $2. It's just not even worth fighting. I'm just gonna. Yeah.
I watched Saturn 3 yesterday, and Saturn 3 will be brought to you with limited commercial interruptions.
Wonderful. So this is only 4 hours of content. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, they're gonna watch it. I have what do you call it? I queued it on my Prime watching list.
Oh, good. Yes, queued it.
Thank you, Kelly. That's awesome. Got another message. This one about music. Speaking of music, Alex from Savannah wrote in about the taxpayers and said this. Just checking in on the January 14th shoe. He said shoe, not show.
Shoe.
I assume you meant to, and it's not a typo.
I'm sure, yep.
You guys played a song from the Taxpayers. I thought that sounded familiar. On my next podcast that played the Sawbones and the Taxpayers are the group that plays the Sawbones theme song.
Oh, very cool.
Timing was perfect. Keep up the great work. So that was nice timing.
Nice. Yeah, I apologize that I called them the Tax Collectors, I think, during the back announce. So
still a pretty good name for a band, though.
It is the Taxpayers, yeah.
Yeah, you got it wrong, but it's a great name for it.
I gave somebody else out there a really good idea for the name of their band. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So we like it when happy circumstances happen where we match something other people are doing, unless it's the death of a celebrity everyone loves. We don't like that when that happens.
Exactly.
All right.
So, yeah. Did you? What was it? It was we were talking about "I Love a Rainy Night," Eddie Rabbitt's song.
Yeah.
And Eddie Rabbitt has already long passed away, so we didn't kill him. But then. There was some show I was watching where they did a cover of that song.
Oh, right. What you sent me a text right when it happened.
I sent you a link, and I'm like, yeah, look at this. They're all of a sudden covering "I Love a Rainy Night," and let's
see
the weird timing. Yeah,
trying to
scroll back through our messages and find it.
It's before the Sheridan thing. Where is it? Is it way back? Oh, here. No. Oh, here it is. Okay. You were at the Mammoth game.
Oh, right. Yes, they had a live country band at the Mammoth game, and they covered "I Love a Rainy Night."
Let's see. I'm going to pull that.
And I got way more excited about that than anybody else because of...
well, let me play it outside here. I don't know why. Weird format or something. But yeah, that was crazy because we had just talked about that dude.
Yeah.
Do you think when Eddie Rabbit died, that meant somebody was pregnant when he died? Do you get it? Do you get the reference?
Oh, Eddie Rabbit, right? Because they used to kill rabbits to find out if you were pregnant or not. Yep,
Yeah.
yep, I get it.
Do you
That's
know
good.
the
That's
only
good, Scott.
reason
Very
I
good.
know? Do you know the only reason I know that is a thing? The only reason. I've never heard it anywhere else. I only know
Yeah.
it from a MASH episode where
MASH,
Margaret
yeah.
Margaret thought she
yeah.
was pregnant. They killed Radar's rabbit to find out or something.
Right.
That's
right.
the only reason I know that.
No, I knew it. I knew it from Soap. We both learned it from 70s TV. And It
Yeah.
was Soap. Diana Canova said she was telling somebody that she was pregnant. They're like, "Are you sure?" And she goes, "The rabbit died."
Do you think that show's worth watching now if you could find
Soap?
it? Yeah. Or do you think that holds up at all? Or do you think it's just like
I don't know.
Cringy
I mean,
and-
God, there was such a great cast. Billy Crystal, breakout role for him. Mona from Who's
Mona?
the Boss? What's
Yeah.
her face?
old stretchy face from Brazil? I can't remember her name though.
Yes.
Anyway, she passed
you
also.
got Ted Wass from Blossom. You got
Big
I
name.
mean, there's so many people who started that in that series and then went on to huge things after that.
But do you think it's good now? Like, is the show good?
I don't know. I feel like you remember when I watched The Golden Girls and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
It has that same
Yeah.
that feel, like that because I think the same producers, as a matter of fact.
Oh, I
yeah,
didn't know that.
Benson. Right. We wouldn't have had Benson. Benson was a spin-off of Soap.
Yeah, Benson was their butler or whatever the hell was going on there.
Correct. Yeah. And he was so sarcastic on that thing and didn't carry a lot of that sarcasm over to his own show. I don't know if it holds up. I actually have the DVDs. I think maybe I got a good deal and bought the DVDs for the entire series. I just remember as a kid, there was one of the season finale cliffhangers was, well, I can't remember her character name, but she wasn't Eunice. She was Eunice's sister, had a baby, and she tucked the baby in and left the room. And then all of a sudden, everything in the room starts flying around like a tornado, like, the baby was possessed. So they had to begin a whole season with an exorcism for the baby.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But as a kid, whatever year that thing came out, it freaked the crap out of me. Like,
Yeah.
I was so freaked out.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're young and impressionable, right?
Yeah.
I had a lot of things do that to me back then. Just someone in the chat just told us Bob Euchre died. 90-year-old Mr. Baseball passed away today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
you got a Switch announcement, and Bob Euchre died. I think there's a little bit of some connection. No, just kidding. There's no connection there. He was a cool guy, though. He was in, wasn't he in those major league movies? He was like the commentator?
Was, yeah, like a little cameo, played himself in those.
Yeah, or he was I think he was the play-by-play guy up in the what do you call it? The play-by-play booth. Whatever they call it up there.
The sportscaster booth.
Yeah,
or
that
whatever it's
thing.
called, Yeah. Yeah, if you want to show the clip, I have the clip on in our Discord. If you want to show the clip that freaked me out, by the way.
We absolutely can. Just one moment here. Let me get it all queued up. Here you go, folks. Whoops.
This was their season finale. I think season 2 season finale. And she steps out of the room, and then lights go off, and then this gave me freaking nightmares. Oh yeah, Benson comes back in for some reason.
It was to show that he likes
deep
babies.
down, he's a softie.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we'll continue here.
You get that nice little comedy bit right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh, what the heck is...
What in the F is going on? What, dude?
Still gives me freaking chills.
Weird. Do they show this kid?
No, they never show the kid.
All right.
Well, they don't show the kid possessed or anything.
Let me ask you a question. I have a theory now because you've told me before possession movies freak you out.
They do, yeah. That's where it came from. It has to have.
Is this the source of that? It must be the source.
It's gotta be 100%. And why I still watching that clip 40 years later, whatever it's been, still gives me the freaking chills.
I think part of it must be because it's just such a tonal change.
It was such a bait and switch, man. It's like, oh, it's so cute. They're talking to the baby, and oh, Benson ran back in, and what the hell is the baby doing now?
That's a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd do that in your sitcom.
Yeah, I know, but it was so good. It was, I mean, for everybody else, for everybody that wasn't me, it was really good.
Did they resolve anything the next season?
Oh yeah, next season began with them. Again, it was like for a while it was when people weren't paying attention, the baby would do stuff, and then they would catch it, and then she realized, again, can't remember Diana Canova's name, but they brought in Father Tim, who was the dude from MASH who goes choppers when it wasn't Radar. I guess Radar was the one who always said choppers. This guy. Oh,
you mean that goes incoming wounded?
The guy, he also was like, tonight's movie is going to be blah blah blah, and then our mess hall is going to serve shit. Go ahead and eat the shit in our mess hall.
I've had a river of liver and an ocean of fish.
Right. So the priest that they brought in, who was in love with Diana Canova, was the guy who performed the exorcism, which I think is why. What they explained it as why the baby was possessed, to kind of get back at her for doing it with a clergyman or something.
Okay, so the bottom line though is they exorcised this baby the next year.
They exorcised the baby the next year. Yeah,
that sounds so shark jumpy to me.
It wasn't. Oh, I don't think it was. I don't know if I can pinpoint a shark jump moment for the show. I feel like it was always, even when Burt Campbell got taken by aliens, I feel like it was still a really good show. It's like,
damn, dude.
Even though anything they could have done, I think that they really established. Yeah, I mean, it was a parody of soap operas, so they really could do anything and get away with it and not have it feel.
Good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
of course, that's the whole premise of the damn thing.
Exactly. That's why you have a possession. Although they don't. That scene you just saw, not a very comedic possession. A very freaking creepy possession.
No, they don't lean. There's no comedy at all, really.
There's no comedy in that. Yeah.
I mean, there's comedy now just from enough time has passed where it's just kind of weird, but.
Exactly.
But
thank you, Eric Ferris. Corinne. Yes.
Corinne. Who's Corinne?
Corinne Campbell was the character. Diana Canova's character's name. I can remember. The mother of the possessed baby.
Got it. Well, little did she know. I blame Benson. He went out there and screwed it up, made it worse.
It was sad when Robert Guillaume left that show, for sure.
Oh, he was great. And he would become Rafiki one day, I believe. Yeah, he was the monkey.
Yeah. Let's not start that.
Let's not get that going. Brian, you got a change in schedule for your Denver meetup. Why don't you tell folks what changed?
So we have been planning to have a Denver Tadpole meetup at this place called Game Train USA, where you play board games and it feels like you're on a train. We've been planning on it for about a month and a half. And then the weather decided, hey, we're going to have 96 hours with a high temperature of 10 and a ton of snow over the weekend. We're going to postpone the Denver Tadpole meetup to a not warmer, but just, a less frigid time.
Makes perfect sense to do that. I would do that too.
Yeah, exactly. We will absolutely postpone that to another time.
All right. So watch for that reschedule coming. Brian will let everybody know. Also, I wanted to share something I found. The other day we are all a little bit set back, myself included, that I didn't know what ALF stood for. I thought. I thought, well, I must be the only person in the world. Turns out we got a viewer on YouTube who's just like me.
One more. Okay, good.
Obscurely Clear says, I was today years old when I learned that I learned about that ALF meaning. Feel like that one mind blown gif. I'm with you, Obscurely Clear. I didn't see it coming. Me and you, baby. Just me and you.
Life form.
I mean, maybe somebody else did, but
I for whatever reason, I initially thought that show was, no, I guess it was in the credit or the opening thing, right? Where it just said ALF and then No, I guess not. I always think of it like E.T. asterisk the extraterrestrial, like to explain what ET stood for, kind of thing.
Oh, did they do? I don't think they. Well, as far as I know, they
maybe
didn't.
they did, not in the credits. Yeah, I don't know where it
But I also wasn't I wasn't an ALF viewer the way Dunaway was. That guy was there every day, or every time
I
aired.
saw 2 episodes of ALF.
Yeah, ALF.
I saw more episodes of ALF than I did. I saw 2 more episodes of ALF than I did the Dukes of Hazzard, if that's anything.
Yeah, I already had a hard enough time with that era's regular straight-faced sitcom laugh track comedies with 3 cameras and bad filming. You introduce a freaking fuzzy puppet-like thing from outer space, and I check out the minute I heard about it. So I know there are ALF fans, and I know you guys are legion, and I get it, but it ain't for me. It never was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Let's get to some news. We got some news stories before my sister comes barreling in here to check how we did this week. Let's play some news intros. Brian, it's time for the news brought to you by
the Coverville Etsy store. What? How else are you going to get quality 3D printed stuff? Those Kyber crystals ain't going to make their own holders. Check it out today at etsy.com/shop/Coverville3D. Actually had a commission project for a listener.
Oh, nice.
This right here, a little desktop device, will hold his vapes that have kind of a rounded bottom to them, and they always fall over and fall off his desk and break. And so he said, hey, could you design me just a little stand for my desk to keep them all in? And
4 vapes at once. That's a lot of vapes.
4 vapes. He's got a lot of vapes. I don't know if he's like multiple flavors, multiple strengths. I don't know. I don't understand it, but there you go.
Lord
got
vape.
the measurements of the vapes and design this for him.
Nice.
Even put a thing up front if you wanted to have a logo up there or whatever.
It'll smell like blueberry happiness before you know it.
It totally will. It'll smell like Lucky Charms is what it's going to smell like.
Yeah, kids are into it. Not that he's a kid. I don't know how old he is.
No, I don't know how old he is either.
Let's get to this story.
Rebel Scum in the chat room. Oh, he's actually.
Oh,
in
is
the
he
chat
here?
room today.
Cool. He gets a look at his thing. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
Sneak preview.
Love it.
Fantastic. A man was awake and conscious when his face caught fire during surgery, according to a lawsuit.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, face fire. Family of an Oregon man who suffered from severe burns after his face caught fire during surgery is suing the hospital for $900,000. In December of 2022, John Michael Murdoch, age 52, is undergoing a procedure as part of his treatment for squamous cell carcinoma. I never say the first part of that right, but it's basically
squamous cell
getting rid of a cancer mole.
Yeah.
Or in this case, cancer of the tongue.
Yeah.
What a terrible place to get cancer. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know it's majorly enhanced if you chew the tobacco. So don't be chewing that there tobacco, folks.
Yeah.
Anyway,
tobacco.
he checked into an Oregon Health and Science University hospital for a tracheotomy to have a breathing tube inserted into his throat. Part of the preparation for that surgery involved his face being swabbed with isopropyl alcohol for sterilization. That's normal. But when the alcohol wasn't given enough time to dry, his face caught on fire when it came in contact with a surgical tool that emitted a spark.
Jeez.
Woof.
No kidding. Oh, my God. Horrendous.
That would suck. Anyway, he lived for more than 6 months after the incident, but he finally succumbed to the cancer that they were trying to treat in June of 2023. While the burns caused by the surgical fire were not cited as the cause of death, the lawsuit said that Murdoch suffered greatly and lived with the disfiguring scars and other traumatic wounds to his face that never fully healed before he died. Lawsuit, according to the report of the Oregonian, stated that Murdoch was awake and conscious during the fire. I say, go for it. Get your $900,000. Good Lord.
Yeah.
That sucks. I wish he was around to enjoy.
Right. At least yeah.
Assuming they win. I don't know how this stuff goes, but I'm related to somebody who had a major case in Oregon from a fatal gun shooting, and it took forever, but they finally got their settlement.
Good.
And the lawyers took a lot of it.
Oh, jeez.
That's Kim's sister. She did all right, but it's still the whole thing, man, whatever. When people screw up in big high places and then you got to try to get some kind of, what's the word, justice out of them. It's not great. It's not easy.
No.
Here's another one. 1 of every 5 job postings is actually fake. That's a little depressing.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, according to this study. According to new analysis of the hiring platform Greenhouse. Never heard of it. Don't know what that is. I assume it's like what's another one of these
like
things?
a LinkedIn kind of thing, or I guess that's less of a job posting platform, but more of a. I mean, you get job things on there, but
it's like
Fiverr's like.
Fiverr's more like commissions.
Employment.com, I think there's something.
Yeah.
Oh, Monster. There we go. That's the one I was trying to think.
Oh yeah, they're headhunters basically at Monster, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, 1 in 5 jobs posted last quarter was a ghost job. I used to think I wanted one of those in high school, if you know what I'm saying. Greenhouse found that on average, between 18 and 22% of jobs posting online would classify as ghost jobs, meaning that one that was published online, but no hiring activity was ever conducted for it. In some industries, as many as 1 in 3 listings are ghost jobs. The data showed that the construction industry had the largest average ghost job rate of all the industries, with 38% of jobs being classified as ghost jobs. Art industry came in second place with 34%, and legal jobs in third place with 29%. It's a weird combo of those three.
Yeah, it really is. Like, not really a pattern.
No. Construction, art, and legal.
Legal, yeah.
Weird.
I'm assuming that these are, they're posted by the companies, and they're just like, we hired internal, we forgot to take that down, or we decided to go another way with it, or we decided to hire a freelancer to do it or something.
Well, it's more nefarious than you think. Companies post these for a variety of reasons. Some of those may be correct, but most of the time it's to show that they are growing and actively hiring when they are not doing well. It's to give this impression that everything's going great. And a lot of times you see this from like public companies because they're trying to convince shareholders everything's fine. We did layoffs last quarter, but look at us now. We're doing hiring, but they never intend to hire anybody, which is pretty lame. I know. I don't like it. It. It says they even pass over great candidates even if they don't have an open role. Survey from Resume Builder in 2024 revealed that 39% of hiring managers said their company posted a fake job listing in the past year. Among those who did, approximately 26% posted 1 to 3 fake job listings, 19% posted 5, and another 19% posted 10, 11% posted 50, 10% posted 25, and 13% of these companies posted 75 or more fake job listings in the last year.
Jeez.
Dude. It's crazy.
That's slimy. That's really slimy.
It's hella slimy.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Not one bit. I mean, it doesn't really.
Then you go on to one of these jobs, you get hired for one of the ones that's real, and then you find out, oh yeah, no, all the other job postings we had were fake, so we could project growth, and we're shutting down.
Yeah.
Sorry, you wasted all that time.
Yeah, lame. I don't like it. I also kind of get it. I get that they would do it. I wouldn't want to do it, but I get why a company who is maybe trying to just portray that everything's great would do it, but I don't know. Freaking business.
It's slimy. Slimy.
Business is slimy. This story I love. I don't know why. I feel kind of bad for the person involved.
Kind of, but not so bad.
Not really bad. I feel like they should have known better. But anyway, a fake Brad Pitt scammer conned a victim out of a fortune. 830,000 euros.
Jeez.
Lady in France got sucked in by this. So Brad Pitt, or at least his online persona, is again in the headlines as yet another scammer claiming to be the Fight Club star. Well, you're really reaching back. Fight Club star.
The 7 years in Tibet star.
Yeah, let's go all the way back to 97 for this one.
Yeah.
Has successfully conned over 830,000 euros out of this woman in France. The almost unbelievable story began in February 2023 when Anne, age 53, aren't they always, who is an interior designer, set up an Instagram page to share snaps from her trip to the Alps with friends. Which Alps? Because now we know there are a bunch of them.
Yeah, was she on the moon, or was she in New Zealand, or I don't remember the third one.
Yeah, what was the third one? I don't remember.
It was
like Borneo or some shit.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't remember. Let's see here. Here it is. A curious message popped up in her inbox of the app. The lady claiming to be the mother of Brad Pitt, Jane Etta Pitt, had messaged Anne and said, "My son needs a woman like you." I mean, look, people try to scam people all the time. I just got this one on Blue Sky from a DM. Let me tell you this one. This is pretty great. Let's see if he's replied, actually, because as of yesterday, things were going pretty good. I think he knows I'm on to him now. All right. So he comes in. His name's Michael Laswell. He's some rando name. Hi, Scott. I hope you're doing well. I'm from Mark Hamill's management. We deeply appreciate your support, especially as he hits 1 million followers here on Blue Sky. Thank you, and wishing you all the best. So I thought, this is a little fishy. Let's play around a little bit. So I sent a thumbs up emoji. Yeah. That probably cued him into thinking, sweet, potential victim. So he wrote back.
One on the hook. Yeah, got one on the line.
He goes, I'm connecting with those who engage with his posts. How long have you been following Mark's content here on Blue Sky? I said, since he moved over here. He says, that's all right, with an exclamation point. Then he says, sounds like you've been familiar with Mark's work for a while now. May I ask where you're from? All right, so now it's obvious.
Yep.
So I said, I went on our TMS Discord and said, should I keep bringing this guy along? And Tanner suggests I tell him I'm from Mark, Illinois, like I'm a Mark, but I'm from an actual place.
Funny. Okay, good.
And it's an actual city so I said, I'm from
Mark, Illinois.
Yeah, I said I'm from Mark, Illinois, and then I sent him a Wikipedia link to the city and a map of it. Mm-hmm. Crickets since then. I think I may have overshown my cards a little bit.
Mark Hamill loves animals. Do you have any pets? What was the name of your first pet?
Yeah. And then where do you use that as a secret question?
Right, exactly.
Thanks, everybody. Anyway.
Mark Hamill's mother's name was Jackson. What was your mom's maiden name?
Exactly. I don't know how these people fall for this stuff. And honestly, here, I'll show some pictures of this Brad Pitt. These are obviously not Brad Pitt. Well, it's him. But they're bad.
They're bad. They're really bad. There's a rampant number of Liam Neeson. There's like a Liam Neeson, I guess because maybe he's got a voice that works really well for faking with AI. But there's like a rampant number of fake Liam Neeson scammers out there. Well, Beverly, I really wish you. I have a certain set of skills I'd love to use on you, Beverly.
I just don't know when people don't. Just stop what you're doing and go, wait a minute. Is this sound even a little fishy? The chances are it's very fishy. So don't. I don't know. I don't want to judge too harshly, but I just feel like people should know.
Chances are, folks, if you're hearing from Scott or me on something, it's really us. And that's why we're happy to be at that level that we are and not the the Neeson, Pitt, Clooney levels of people pretending to be us and taking advantage of that sort of thing. It's like, no, I'm happy to wallow away in semi-obscurity.
I can go to the mall.
Never be used as a scammer.
I go to the mall. I got like a 1 in 200 chance anyone there will even know who I am. It's great.
Right. Yeah.
That's the way to live. Well, anyway, she thought he had taken all these photos for her. I mean, it's very sad.
It's sad that she fell for it, but good Lord, I think at some point your children need to take away your internet.
Feels like it. Mother, take away your internet. They said in France. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister will arrive. And what will she tell us? Well, you'll have to tune in to find out. She is a therapist. That means you're all here to get some help. Let's get some help. Brian, help us play a song first before we go.
Yes. Oh, what a great name for a song we've got for you today. It's Breakfast Schmeckfast.
Oh, my Lord. I love it.
This is by a band called The Thirsty Curses. This is an album produced by John Agnello, a power pop band from Raleigh, North Carolina. If you like Dinosaur Jr. or The Replacements, kind of that harder edged power pop stuff, you're going to really like this. This is a trio, like I said, from North Carolina. Thirsty Curses, their forthcoming 5th album comes out. I don't see a date, but it's going to be called Music is a Scam.
Sweet.
John Agnello, by the way, was the producer for Dinosaur Jr., Kurt Vile, and Screaming Trees. So good pedigree right there. Here are the Thirsty Curses and the first single from that album. It's called Breakfast Schmeckfast.
Mellow Yellow or Mountain Dew? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4. Paper, rock, scissors. Why use all that mathematical, analytical analysis? I'll just pick the one I like the best. They got it. They got it.
And we've returned. Who was that one more time?
Sure, that is the Thirsty Curses and their brand new song, Breakfast Schmeckfast, from their upcoming album, Music is a Scam.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get Wendy in. Whoops.
Sure,
I almost started the core room. Don't do that. That would be bad.
Yeah, Raven in our chat room said that Blonde Shell is going to be in the Twin Cities soon. The song we played yesterday, TNA. What a great song. But man, she needs to break up with that guy.
I agree.
the song, the lyrics.
Yeah.
Blonde Shell is touring and is going to be in the Twin Cities. So go check out Blonde Shell.
Nice.
If you're up there.
Maybe even Wendy could go.
She
wants
could.
to go. Yeah.
She should too. Maybe that's where she is right now because she's not answering.
Yeah, she hung up. I think she kind of hung up on me. So let's see what that means.
Oh, maybe she's on the phone with somebody or something.
Sometimes this happens. Actually, right now I can't even get it to ring. Why? All the right clicking's doing nothing. Why?
All the right clicking. I'm doing all the right clicking.
I really am doing all the right clicking. I think I may have.
All the right clicking.
I may have discovered a bug in here. Hold on. You need a sec? I'll ask her.
Let's put your hands up.
Put your hands up. Zip zap. Okay, let's try it again. Still won't let me right click. What the heck? Discord? Oh, here we go.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll tease tomorrow. We're going to have some trivia on TMS AM or TMS Friday and a movie review for a movie I'm seeing tonight.
Oh, very nice.
Theater.
Nice. I'm excited to see hear what you got. Plus, we have Monica. Don't forget.
Oh, we have
tomorrow.
Monica, and we're going to be talking about The Substance.
Yeah, which is the weirdest damn thing I've seen this year. So
Jeez.
We'll see what she thinks. All right, now Wendy is here.
Oh, hell no.
It's Wendy Dunford, my sister, joining us as she does each and every week from the Twin Cities. It's nice to have you here. How are you?
I'm good. I think that's so funny, the intro.
You like that?
Oh, hell no.
Hell no.
I got all kinds of clips of you, so I can find just about anything. Like I have,
That's so stupid.
you wouldn't believe how many pages of Wendy clips I have. I have so
boy.
many.
We could make a Wendy AI for weeks that she's not here, and nobody would know. We have so much audio from Wendy.
Yeah,
You should do that.
I have you
and
trained.
See if my advice is any good.
I have you trained on this thing. You want to hear it? Here, check this out.
Right, you did do this.
Yeah, I did this a while ago. Let's have Wendy say something. So, hi, I am Wendy, and I like chicken. All right, we'll just do something simple. All right.
Okay.
So now let's go choose Wendy the voice. Oh wait, did I get rid? No, I still have you. Here we go. All right, generate speech, and you'll hear it right here. Here we go. This will be quick. At least I think it will. Here we go. It's thinking.
Hi, I am Wendy, and I like chicken.
There you go. That's you. You like that? How you like that?
I did not like that at all.
It's too close, like too
Holy
on
cow.
the button.
Yeah, Brian's doesn't sound quite right. I
No,
think
mine
I
doesn't
sound
either.
okay, but Tom Merritt sounds too excited. Like I've done this with a few folks, and
Yeah.
Kim's is,
I think you were the best when I heard these before. I think Wendy's yours came out the best.
yeah. Let's think of something when Wendy would actually say like
let me give you a link to a book on Amazon.
yeah. Try here. Do your Amazon book homework. Okay, so let's see how that sounds. I think that'll be an easy one for
Here,
it.
do your Amazon book homework.
There you go. Does this sound like,
Homework.
yeah, homework. Well, anyway, there's sliders to make you sound more insane if I wanted, but we'll leave it there.
I like slower and high. That's my favorite vocalization.
Well, anyway, it is nice to see you or have you here, though. I feel like I'm going to see her in March, and that'll be fun because it's always just fun to see your siblings who you don't get to see very often.
Yeah, and then we're going to see her a month later. Everybody who comes to TMS Vegas hopefully is going to see her. You're coming, right? You're planning.
I am
on it?
coming. You guys gave me adequate time to find tickets.
That's
so I'm really
right.
happy. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Yeah.
You're also going to,
gonna be fun.
you were talking about trying to organize a pickleball tournament, which I think could be
Yeah, maybe.
interesting given the hotel we're in.
Oh, they're all about the pickleball.
Yeah, the trick
Right.
is just finding out what time to wedge it in there. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens, but it's exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah.
for-
And there's maybe no one who likes it. It'll just be me out there running around.
Oh, I think people love the pickleball. It's crazy
Do they
around
love
here.
the pickleball?
Oh
I
man,
have never played it, but I would so sign up for that.
Okay, so
and
Brian,
play
tell
it.
me this. Can you play ping pong?
I can play ping pong. Yeah.
Okay. Can you move a little bit more than when you're playing ping pong?
I can move. I can move a little bit more than.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
You got your original knees. You'll be fine.
Yep. So we at least have 2 people in the tournament, folks. 2 people.
Yep.
2 people.
Yep. I'll get in. Make it 3. Awesome. Well, it's good to have you here. Was there a follow-up before we get to our email? We think there might have been about like how we're doing our nighttime habits and all that. Can you remind us what we were supposed to do?
I mean, I will tell you that I've been I rubbed my ear and my hands are so dry because it's Colorado that it sounds like sandpaper on aluminum foil.
You've been exfoliating.
Yes, exactly. But when I do I started with here's a word, now take each letter, come up with all words for that letter that work. And then when I feel like I ran out of those, I switched to, all right, Beatles, what songs can I come up with that begin with A? All right, what begins with B? What begins with C? And that helps also, like painting with my colors. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Personalizing it. And did you fall asleep?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, there
Fell
we go.
asleep before I got to come together. So
before C. That's impressive.
Before C.
Nice. Okay. Love it. And did you experience it like the light switch where it just like, and boom, or was it drowsy to sleepy? Okay.
No, it was
a light switch.
instantaneous. Like I was thinking, oh yeah, what letter was I on last night? I was like, oh, I just started C and
then lights out. I know. I love it.
It's great.
It is very great. Yeah. So Brian, way to go. Okay. So that's a good follow-up. How about you, Scott?
I did the same thing or attempted to. The ear thing does work for me. It chills me out and I don't hear a bunch of weird sound. It just works. Or chills me out, makes me relax. It doesn't put me to sleep, but it makes me relax. So I do that before bed. That was nice as a way to just sort of prep. I have been reading and doing other things before bed, but not in bed, doing it out on the couch in the living room or something like that. Get tired when it's bed, right? Okay. So that's helped a lot. I think that alone has helped a lot. Like that's been the major thing.
Changing your environment and not teaching yourself that reading in bed, that bed is good for reading too. Staying awake.
And then I had a friend with a big health scare this week, and that night it was hard for me to sleep because I was kind of obsessing about what we could do for them and how they're doing and all this. And so I could not go to sleep that night. So I tried the letter thing, and the problem with the letter thing is my brain wants to, Brian and I talked about it before, my brain wants to construct a story out of the words.
Yeah, it does.
And so I'll sit there going, I'll say, okay, I'm on B's. Beelzebub, the devil came in with a stick and poked the guy in the eye. Like I'm making up stuff.
In the bottom, with also begins with B.
Yeah, it's like all these things, and they were distracting me and not helping me sleep. They were just creating stories that were keeping me up. So I stopped doing that and instead just started counting down from things. So like starting at 25 and counting down. And that worked really well because I'd get to maybe 18, 17, and then I'd forget when I ended.
Okay.
So I think kind of similar thing, but for whatever reason, numbers don't create new story opportunities in my head, whereas words do.
Yeah. And everyone's a little bit different, and so personalization, that's the lesson. Good job.
Yeah. So it was good. I think I had a better overall week of sleep than I've had in a while.
Does everyone hear that? Let's all just be excited. That is amazing results.
Well, you should put results. My recommendation to you is to put that in an email and send it out to folks so that they have a way of learning about it themselves.
Yeah.
I might have done that.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Except your brother who forgot to click the right link. Other than that, you'll be fine.
Yes.
Well, anyway.
Okay, so I sent another email out this morning. So if you two did not get it, that means you're not on the right.
I haven't checked my email.
I did not check my email this morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at you two making good psychological decisions not to look at email.
I definitely have to do it later. I can't do it right away.
Yeah.
That's actually good. Yeah, we waste a lot of our energy in the morning on small little tasks like email. If I can help people with their sort of like managing their energy a little better is to or productivity really is to never check email if you can in the morning. But a lot of people's jobs require it.
I got the one on January 1st. I did not get one today.
Same.
That means you didn't re-sign up, you two.
Oh.
Okay. So
we have to re-sign up?
I'm going to manually add you.
I didn't know we had to re-sign up. I thought we just were in.
Yeah.
Well, because you were in the
Russian email scam is this?
Listen to me. You guys were in the original group that I gave permission to, like, I'm not going to talk to you again. I'm trying to respect your email. If you
Right.
want to subscribe, do. You guys just don't read.
You explain that. No,
Literally, neither of you read.
No, you're right. You know what? There's a lesson in this. We live in a society now where nobody wants to read a giant paragraph. We just go,
I know.
scan it. What does it say? Is there money in this? No. Okay, forget it.
Yeah.
Like we're just not, we don't have that attention span anymore. And so you're right. Your original email said, this is not, I don't want to spam you. So if you want in, just go ahead and click. And I just never did.
Please note, this is the last email you'll receive from our previous system, and we'd love to keep you in the loop. ... Okay. You highlighted it, and I still went
in one side, out the other. Same.
This explains what is happening.
I was too distracted by all the acronyms or initialisms after your name. And I was trying to
I got a lot of letters.
You do, a lot of letters.
Yeah. There you have
It's
it.
to impress you. Does it work?
It works. It totally works.
Does it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Good.
So
I only have one letter after my name, and it's F. Brian Ibbett, F.
yeah. F. Well, all right. So I'll do that today. But so these are going to come weekly. Did I hear that right? Did you say that?
What's coming with you?
These emails.
These emails?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, we have the first inaugural round of this the health and PE course is going to start February 3rd. So I will while that's happening, probably leave people alone for the most part. So you may not get emails once a month, but there'll be a lot of free stuff. My goal is to also have just like a ton of free stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you never buy a thing, you can still like have some really good tools. Like this sleep stuff, I'm telling you, like I don't want to brag, but it freaking works. And you guys just proved it. Like it's really helpful, and I'm not going to hold back that kind of stuff. The stuff my team really offers is like the support to do and make the changes. It's one thing to read about. I mean, it's not your experience. You're like, I can find any information, but how do I implement it into my life? Usually requires some accountability, another person talking to you, That's why therapy online only works a little bit, self-diagnosing and do it yourself, because you really kind of need the social aspect. So, but I'm going to do a lot of free stuff. So I'll send emails out for that. So sign up if you just, it's going to be infrequent enough. I promise I'm not going to bother everyone forever, but this is the push before February 3rd. So that's the deadline.
All right. Go to Know Better You at KNOW Better You letter U .com. All right, everybody.
And I have a live webinar next Wednesday at 2:00 Central Time. And so you can just, on the main website, you can just sign up right there if you want to join and hear. You're going to hear more about what the stuff is, but I'm going to do a lot of things that go deep. You just spend 2:00 with me on a Wednesday. Yeah. Doesn't that sound fun?
Yeah, bringing that webinar term back too. I like
webinar. I know. I've wanted a different word, but it just keeps changing it and all this stuff to webinar. So I'm like, I'm not going to fight it.
It's fine. Seminar on the web.
Webinar.
Yeah, we'll just call it
Seminar web. Yeah.
Web-snar. Anyway.
Webinar. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Let's get to today's email. We got an email.
Yeah.
You shortened this up a bit and kept it anonymous. Which I'm only saying that because I think the author had said, hey, it's okay if you say my name, but you told me to keep it anonymous. So I'm going to keep it that way. And I'm going to read it. This is a little bit truncated from what it was, but not too much. The gist is here. Here's how it goes. I've been feeling stuck in a cycle when it comes to friendships, and I don't know how to break free. Outside of my immediate family, I don't really have any meaningful connections, no one to lean on when things are tough, or even to share good news with. It's lonely, and I don't understand why it feels so hard to find genuine reciprocal friendships. Friendship has always been a struggle for me. Growing up, I was often the odd one out, the punching bag in social groups, or the friend people kept around to make themselves feel better. In college, I found my voice, but lacked communication skills to use it effectively, leaving me labeled as difficult or quote-unquote crazy. Over the years, I've had fleeting relationships that seemed promising, but always turned into one-sided relationships where I was the only one giving support and advice while getting little in return. The losses I've experienced have only deepened this sense of isolation. My sister was my truest friend until she was tragically taken from me, and when that happened, everyone I thought cared about me disappeared as well. Since then, I've struggled to find friendships that aren't built on me giving emotional labor to others. I tried to be that friend I wish I had, kind, supportive, and reliable. but it feels like my cup is empty now. I'm tired of being the one people turn to only when there's a crisis, and I'm left wondering, why doesn't anyone want to be my friend just for the joy of it? I don't understand why my efforts to connect seem to fall flat. I'm a good person, I know that much, and I'm exhausted from feeling like a tag-along friend that nobody wants around. I've tried reading and reflecting on what to do differently, but I'm still stuck in this pattern, longing for belonging, but unsure how to find it. All right, so there's your message. I'll bet this is relatable to a number of human beings listening to this right now.
For sure.
Yeah. So let's help them out. What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's start with a couple things to understand that are pretty global, and then we'll break it down to what this person can do individually.
Okay.
But they are global factors. They really, really are. And so I like this framing, and I should give credit to who wrote it, but I couldn't find it this morning. But it's this idea that there really are like 3 levels of relationship or socialization or like intimacy that happen. And we have our closest, nearest, and dearest, right? That's going to be family, people you live with, maybe next door neighbors, close friends that are just in that little closer circle. Then your middle tier is going to be, the guy at the store you see a couple times a month. It's going to be parents of kids at school. It's going to be that, your banker, anyone you're just going to interact with in real life that is periphery, it's friendly, it's fine. It's, kind of all that middle ground. And especially if you have kids and you're in school systems, that's really a lot of people in that group come from that space, or your job. It can be, that makes sense, right? And then we've had the 3rd level, and that is the global level. That is the online realm for the most part, where you're not seeing people face to face. It's even like one-sided passive stuff. Like you can have hey, I played a video game with this guy that lives across the world, and that's in your 3rd tier, but it also is like famous people. They're in your 3rd tier. Or Facebook friends of Facebook friends, right? They're really, they're out there. Okay, so we have these 3 levels, and I think what's happened over time, and you guys are old, so you remember these days, where your 1st level and your 2nd level were kind of all you had. And the bigger level might be like, I read the news a couple times, and there were some things happening in the world. It didn't have a massive influence on you or take up a ton of your time. And then maybe early internet days, you were expanding that, and that was pretty exciting, right? And you talk to anyone who is around for the beginning of the internet, they will just talk about how lovely it was, right? Like how nice, and everyone's just making widgets and cute, there's a nostalgia for those early days because it was not that many people and it hadn't, done what it does. Okay. So, but how this has evolved for many, many people is that first circle has gotten smaller. Maybe people have less siblings or smaller families, or they have they move around and maybe aren't as connected to like the close friends live somewhere else or whatever, right? So you're who I live with, more and more people live alone. Like there's a lot of sort of public human behaviors happening that are affecting the smallness of that first round or level. Then the 2nd level, and this is what has gotten interesting, and you can all relate to this. This 2nd level has gotten very threatening because of the 3rd level. So the 3rd level is, I'm going to go to my silo, hear the news that resonates with me, pay attention to the sources that I think are true. I'm going to have, my echo chamber is both there, and the other team that we hate is also there. And so we're going to just keep building this entire almost social construct from an internal perspective. We are developing our thoughts, our feelings, our attitudes, the way we believe about somebody in that 3rd tier from hanging out a lot of time in that 3rd tier without no one's selling us our deli slices at the counter. They are people that we will never meet, likely, right? And they have they have this huge influence, right? So we have the small, intimate level, the very loud and divisive and find your own sort of tribe and the fighting deal on the third level. And then what happens in our second tier? This is just the say hello, open the door for someone. We have started to sort of distrust that tier because the third tier has told us you never know who those people are.
And it just dwarfs the second tier. There's so many people in the third tier that it just overshadows the second tier.
Yeah, and second tier is boring. Shall we be just clear? It's boring. And if you have like a fist fight at a Costco in front of you, it's a big deal because your life might not be full of Costco violence, right? But online, you can find your Costco violence in any second if that's what you're into, right?
And you're more likely to tell your third tier that you witnessed the fist fight at Costco than your second
100%.
tier.
And add to the everything is not safe in the second tier, right?
Right.
And what happens to the human brain is that we get dopamine in like really fast, effective, high doses with the third tier and with some of our behaviors, right? So for example, getting up in the middle of the night to watch The Simpsons. I've heard someone that has done that in the past, right?
Can't imagine who that was, yeah.
That is fast dopamine, which wakes you up, by the way, but also it's not doing your brain any favors. It's not, think of it as like non-nutritive fun, like, ooh, right? And then slow dopamine is I'm going to wander through this flea market and chat with the owner of this stall. And I'm going to just have a little human connection, or we're going to find something we both are interested in, or I'm going to give someone a compliment, or I'm going to hold a door. I'm going to work through an issue at my kid's school with the teacher. Like those are slow dopamine deliveries. Right? Going on a walk in my neighborhood with my dog, slow delivery. And so that is, it's hard for that to beat out the quick pace of getting, eating all the stuff that is so tasty, but pretty bad for us, right? Okay. So we have this imbalance now where it was always sort of the other way. And then the balance is sort of flipped. So we don't necessarily trust the second tier. And then our most intimate tier is shrinking a lot due to people just don't want to go do stuff like they might have if they were bored, right? They're not bored because the third tier is so fun. And so like, okay, I'll meet you for dinner. Oh, I'd just rather stay in, right? We all feel that way sometimes. You get tired, you don't want to do it. But the slow dopamine, what it means is we just aren't accessing that as much. And that is, so our brain is pretty wired to either have a really good time or its real life is pretty boring, and sometimes for some of my clients really hard to live. So escaping to the third tier is just really pleasant. Okay, so let's go to the emailer for a second. So does that make sense real quick, my three-tier model? Any questions on that?
Yeah, I get it. In fact, it kind of helps me explain why I'm so tired at the end of the day and don't want to do anything with anyone because the third tier wore me out, and I don't want to do any flesh and blood tearing.
Right. Yeah. So what it means is you're not expending the little energy that it would take to do that, but you're also not getting the slow, steady reward of that, which is building relationships that are around you. In fact, when we look at well-being research, some of the main questions often revolve around, do you have someone you can call in the night to help you? And when a huge portion of populations, and this is worldwide, they've done this research, are saying, I have no one to call. We're in trouble, right? That means our most intimate sphere or our even local second sphere isn't very strong because we're spending so much time in that third area. And that third area really plays havoc on sort of our loyalties and the rules. Like it's a whole social ecosystem that is really different from these other ones, right? And so it's exhausting, and then we come home and we don't want to do the thing that, So I've been using this term with some of my clients of like, how do we chase slow dopamine? Because you don't have to chase the third tier fast dopamine. Yeah, it will come to you.
You'll find it. Yeah.
You'll get it.
In fact, we have to block it, right? But how can you actually make the effort to be in nature, to interact with animals, to talk to random strangers, to read, to do slow work? It's going to take some effort, I think. Because our brains aren't built for this.
Right.
The timing on this is really funny because my stepmom sent me an article yesterday from The Atlantic about this slow change that the world is having to antisocial and more internal. What's the introverted behavior where they were basically at a restaurant and they noticed. It used to be a really bustling restaurant, and they went back there, and the place was relatively empty, but there were like 9 to-go bags on the counter, and each person
100%.
came in, looked for their name, grabbed their bag, and walked out. Did not interact with the bartender, did not interact with the host stand, nothing. Just came in, got their bag, and left. And they see this is portending a very isolated future.
Yes, and that is exactly. And what's interesting. And I've lived in a couple places where there's very quiet, introverted white culture, and then a robust immigrant culture next to it. And so, like for example, there's an Indian restaurant really close to my house that is the most freaking delicious Indian street food you've ever had, and they have nothing but takeout bags on the counter. So many, like they're overrun, but every seat is full with someone from India.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they'll, I'm often the only white girl in that place.
Right. The quote unquote
The
whites
gathering culture.
In.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the whites who just want to take it home and watch Squid Game.
Watch TV. Yeah. And part of that is, of course, not being the dominant culture, right? You want to be with your people and you want to eat the food and the smells and the sounds and the language. And it was very similar in Sweden. Swedes were like, just go home and have tacos by yourself on Friday. And, the Somali community and the Eritrean and Ethiopian communities were like, we need to stand around in the street and talk. That's what we do. And so trying to find space to do that, because it's inherent in the way they would thrive. And so watching that, you realize like, okay, both are appealing, but one is easy. Does that make sense? Like one is easy to order the food, have it brought to you, and scroll through your shows until you fall asleep on the couch and get up. But what you didn't get in that is some of the really core neurochemical help that your brain offers, because we are social creatures. Now, it doesn't mean everyone should go be an extrovert. It does mean introverts are not anti-people. They just maybe need more recovery time, or they don't get as much out of large groups or whatever. That's all good, but they do need people. So to the emailer, there is the small intimate circle is the one they are talking about. There's concern, right? That they lost their sister, right? How difficult is that to be when you're one of your closest connections? And then now you're in grief. And then people are really pretty crappy at helping someone who's in grief unless they've been there themselves. And so you feel really isolated. And it sounds like there's a history here of struggling to have relationships be equal and even. And it's sort of that mutually beneficial thing. And I love this line, and I want this for everybody. Why doesn't anyone want to be my friend just for the joy of it? And I know this person, you guys know this person. It is a joy to know this person. Agreed. But why is that not coming across? And I think what we have historically with lots of different people is, and that's the reason I didn't want to say the name. Because I think it's super universal, and I don't want you all thinking you know the answer to the question, because it is, hey, we all have our own experience gaining and losing and managing friendships from our childhood on. Some of us, this comes pretty easily. Others, it's really difficult. Sometimes you just don't know, like you can't find someone who jives with you. And this is why that third tier is so strong, right? You can find anyone that can jive with you, but you can also find your, enemies there too. And so it serves this wonderful purpose, but it does mean we aren't maybe getting some of the biological and the help from just having a larger or more robust, smaller group. It doesn't have to be huge numbers. It just needs to be someone you can call in the night, right? Or that you have someone to talk to, or that it feels beneficial, mutually beneficial.
Yeah, I feel like
thoughts, and then I want to dig into that. Is it equal?
So my local tribe, the people that let's just for example's sake let's say it's 20 people that those people you could call in the night, or shoot, I'm stuck somewhere, who can come get me? You know, like those kinds of relationships. That was severely slashed during the pandemic, mostly from A little bit from just everyone had to isolate themselves. That was some of it. But most of it came out of, did you hear what he said? Or, I can't believe he would do that. I guess it takes a hard thing like this to see his real like there was a lot of that going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, geez.
And that whittled down to a much smaller list. We thankfully have a great list still, but there are some people on that aren't on that list anymore that would be shocking to me 10 years ago. If you'd asked me and said, who do you think is going to be on the list? I would have said, he'll definitely stay on that list. No, not at all.
And you can see the interplay of your third tier and your first tier.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one of the most difficult things. You see someone's rant on Facebook and I'm supposed to trust you to walk my dog or take care of my kid if there's an emergency. And I just saw you hate super hard.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
And that to your face problem, that most people would not be doing. I find it fascinating that like online threat situation like that. There's nothing that ever happens on this planet Earth where someone is not threatening someone's death
all the time.
It is weird. Yeah. And I would like a profile, and I'm guessing it spans major differences. Like this is not like one kind of person does this. I think it's a lot of people get riled just enough and it goes there. And that, I'm working on my theory. I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay. All right.
I've fleshed it out. But it is a bizarre behavior, I think, connected to you being isolated enough and maybe go say that to someone's face and then you have your fight in Costco. See?
Yeah. If you solve that one, you might get that, the big international award you've been, due all these years.
Yeah, I've been really trying to get. Totally. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this really quick about how the inequality in friendship, I think, is. I'm going to speak to this, and this is going to be neutral. It's not about this person specifically, but I would say this with anyone who has struggled historically in friendships with this inequality thing. What I would first look at was what trained you to give more than you received, right? Mm-hmm. Where did you learn that? And one of the common things women will experience or folks who have a lot of estrogen. Estrogen is very much the hormone of care for others. Pay attention to what they need. Don't let that baby die. It's a very look out for other kind of hormone, and men have it too, right? They just don't have enough. Anyway, and that's why as women get older and they are losing estrogen, they stop giving a crap and they're like, whatever, like there's a lot less, maybe only for their grandchildren. But that is this interesting, like, hey, so I'm naturally going to care about other people and how they're doing, but someone has taught me or modeled that the inequality of that is fine. And maybe my role is even to do more. And then we get desperate too. We want friendships or connections. We're willing to give more than we get back to stay connected. Right. But you can see through the history here, it really backfires on you. It really doesn't serve you. And so this craving for real connection actually is this equality thing. Now, nobody's perfect. Some people will be needier than others, and you kind of know that, like, well, okay, I know if I'm going to dinner with Mary Lou, I'm going to have to listen to her talk the whole time about
Mary Lou. She's always trouble, man.
It's always Mary Lou, by the way.
Right.
We need to delve into that. You need to talk about the Mary Lou in your past, because I think there is one.
Yeah. And I have this struggle with, I'm a professional listener. So I'm going to ask all sorts of questions. I'm like a Hooters waitress when it comes to emotional communication.
That's what I always say. What's your sister like? Oh, she's like a Hooters waitress. And then
she's like a Hooters waitress.
Do not use that vocalization against me, please. Anyway, but it really is like I am genuinely curious and I'm going to ask you, and then I'll get you crying. Like I've met someone once at one of my kids' functions. I knew about her mom's leg recovery and some of their dynamic within a half hour. And the lady goes, why am I talking about this? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
I bring that up.
I just know how to pull on a thread, and most people really just need someone to listen, right? Mm-hmm. But you know what that means in my friendships? I have to be careful, or I won't have anyone who is mutual, right? Because I'm just going to do all the chitty chat for them and make them feel like, oh, I'm valid.
You'll just
And not to
always
say
be, you'll always be the one listening instead of the one talking or having your own, giving the other
And when
direction.
you do it 7-8 hours a day and it's not about you, it's just muscle memory, right? And so I have a couple friends that are so good at forcing me. They're like, no, stop changing the subject. How do you actually feel about that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Is this what it's like to be listened to? Like they're drilling into make this real and make this equal. Yeah. And I'm so grateful for them. And I never asked them to do that. They just have that sense, and they know I struggle with it, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's such a gift. But I also recognize, all right, well, this friendship's more equal. These friendships, I'm a little more the therapist, and that's okay. But when I need to call someone in the night, you know who I'm not calling? Not the one who I know every detail about their entire lives, because they maybe haven't asked me a single question. That has happened. And these are real life friends that you're like, okay. And so we're tiering within our own intimate circle as well. Mm-hmm. But if we spend no time in that second tier and no time extending ourselves outside of, what's comfortable, we can't grow it. Or it can't be perfect, right? I can't go, hey, I want friends who are only going to ask me questions. Well, that's not going to work, right? Mm-hmm. It needs to be some back and forth, and it needs to be some practice. And then sometimes this other thing I would ask the emailer is, can we go back to, is there trauma around here that's sort of causing some of the reactivity in friendships? Like, we can sometimes be really, I don't know if you've met someone, you're like, oh, they're needy. Okay.
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Or they come across as like, they could care less what you think. And you're like, no, wait, does that person want to be my friend? And they're like, no, I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it has the whole spectrum, right? And some of that might come from childhood experiences of trying to make friends and having bad experiences, and or getting bullied, or having these other, am I socially accepted and lovable? And then I'm bringing that into my adult interactions. And then really the biggest sort of blanket over all of this is so ubiquitous now. It's not just you. And I think often people have just thought, well, this is just me. Seems like all the popular kids are having a great time, It's no popular kids are having a great time anymore. Everyone,
they're pretending that they are not.
It's a struggle. It's a struggle.
I mean,
so you're not alone.
That's interesting. So I even have some people that are couples, right? Like married couples who are in. They are tiered within the couple, meaning one of them. Like if one, how do I put this? If I was drowning, I know which one I would rather have on the shore looking after me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that makes it even weirder, right? Because a lot of times, especially when you're older, when you're in your teens and your 20s, maybe you can free will it a lot. But when you're starting to feel like a third wheel and you eventually get married and everything, it starts to all come down to couples in that tier.
It does.
Yeah. It does.
It's rarely just some dude or lady.
And when you have small kids, it becomes couples with kids for a little while too.
Yeah, a whole other
and
thing.
Divorce this is one of the things that's so violent, I would say, about divorce. It's so hard, is socially things just splint. And
which member of the couple do you get custody of when there's a split?
Yeah.
Kim and I talk about this all the time. It's like we're empty nesters, even though one of them's still nesting here. Yeah. But we have talked about this change a lot and how drastic it really is. You don't really know until you get there, and when you get there, you realize this is the moment where the rubber meets the road on your relationship. Was all of that. Like when you initially get married, you got all kinds of great stuff, like you're super hot for each other, and there's that whole aspect of it, and everything else. And then later on, it's like, well, it's all for the kids, focus, and then they go, and then you're like, all right, now are we still cool? Are we still a thing? Like cohesive and longevity based and all those things. And we had this conversation once because it's not that we weren't sure. We were just like, what are we supposed to feel like now? Is this supposed to be, what is this? And it was a weird exploration of like trying to figure out where our heads should be. And it turns out they were right where we wanted them to be, and everything's great. But we don't, we see a lot of our friends going through this now where they get to the age, their kids age out and they move out or whatever. and now they're getting divorced, or they're separating, or they're not talking to each other, or they're only staying together for taxes or whatever, or they got Lucy and Ricky beds where they're all separate and stuff. Just, it blows my particular mind, but I imagine at the very least people discover that moment where they have to think about it a little bit and like, you know, reevaluate where they are and know that it's no longer at the fulcrum of child rearing. It's this other thing, you know?
Right. So. And I think I've shared this before, the 3 marriages. Everyone gets a three marriages, 3 like relationships. And sometimes it's the same person through all 3. And sometimes there's divorcing and switching of partners. You know, I'm talking mainly monogamy here. Is that, you know, you have the pre-era you were talking about, and then you have the kids era, and then you have the retirement era. And each one, you have to redo the relationship in some way. You have to recommit to it. You have to do the things that will keep you close. And I think, you know, as people are struggling with relationship development and you know, maybe pairing off at all, or finding like their crew that they can be close to and need, it's really tricky to navigate when I think you also have a collective anxiety maybe going on a little bit, some more. So, I mean, I know like the real me, I am pretty open about, like, I don't, you know, you can ask me any questions. People just don't, but if you can ask me any questions, then I'll tell you, for the most part. But I have over the last, you know, many years, whatever, 2016 that changed the time space continuum, where you're like, is it safe to be you? Am I going to get attacked or, you know, and if you have any bullying history, I mean, this has to be the scariest world in the world, right? Because you're already sort of predisposed to maybe I got to hide the real me. I need to be careful. And then at any moment, you're going to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, be on the wrong team. And it can be pretty frightening. And so when you're interacting with anyone, as you're trying to build your friendships, you may have to be considering that they're in this situation as well. And some people are good at this and some people are not. And a lot of people's dance cards feel like they're full. And you're like, okay, well, no room there. And it's tricky. And when you're partnered and that person is your everything, and that's partly why marriages are so strained and relationships are so strained, is you have to be everything to this one person. Back in the day, you had like the Rotary Club or something, right? Like, where did people go where they were like, hey, I get other needs met here? Now it's so often this partner has to be your financial stability, your social life, your fun and laugh and spontaneous but steady. I mean, it's a lot to put on one person. And so there's even a little more strain on some of those relationships. So you're just seeing that play out, Scott.
Yeah, and it's funny because the pandemic limited my list, but it strengthened my core ones. Yeah. Like Kim and I couldn't be closer right now. Like, it's just, there's not even, I don't know, I just can't even imagine life any different with anything else or anybody else or any other situation. Like, it comes with new anxieties, like, oh, she better not ever get sick, and you know, her sister's all going through their stuff and everything, and I'm just like, oh, please don't let that be her. And you know, so it's amplified all of that. Yeah. But that I can tell you that the pandemic in particular, which, you know, we'll be studying for decades as far as its impact on society, and hopefully not other ones that come in the meantime, who knows. But that had a bonding experience for the two of us. And I know for a lot of people, it was the opposite of that. So I don't want to be insensitive to that. But it's interesting to try to understand what the mechanics of that are. Like, why did it bond? Why did we bond? And I think it was partly because we realized at the end of it all, doesn't matter how big our lists are, at the end of it all, it really is me and you, babe. You know what I mean? Like, we are it. We're the two that are going to get it done for us, and that's it. And so if we can rely on that, then the tendrils can branch out. We can find other support. We can do all the other things we have to do. But this just needs to be as solid as humanly possible. Yeah. And it was a relief to feel at the time that it already was. We weren't like going, oh, we've got so much to work on. We didn't have that moment. And I'm really glad. And I know that people did, and I'm not trying to diminish their I don't want to. I'm not trying to tout this. I'm just saying this is the way it was, and it was about the only comforting thing. When on the other end of it, people are showing their true selves and they're dropping like flies as far as relationships go.
Yeah.
So it was
well,
weird.
And let me put it this way, really quick, to explain what you're saying, and you're on the lucky end of that, and others on the unlucky end. But the pandemic particularly it was putting pressure on every system, and it was the catalyst to make something crack further if it was already cracking. Mm-hmm. And if it was solid, it just made it a little more solid. Like things like that do that. Trials do that. Bouts with cancer do that. Whatever it doesn't mean it's easy. Obviously, it's pressure, right? And it's hard, and so that can be. And that's like bonding with a buddy, right? Like you need experiences to bond. We don't want you all to have near-death experiences or almost die of influenza, but you need experiences to connect so that you have stories to tell. Our brains, we love our stories. We need stories to tell. We need memories to have. We need chats. We need space. We need a third place, which I could talk about all day, how we have diminished the third places, the physical third places in our lives. And so our social lives, that second tier really struggles because we do not have the bowling alley we all go to anymore, or we don't have the clubs that you belong to because we're not bored. We are having a great time watching the best TV that's ever been made by ourselves with maybe one person. And so you really do need to force yourself out of out into your second tier and find a way to do something cool in your own community. This is why I'm always telling clients to volunteer, to get yourself around a cause you care a ton about, and then you are obligated to get your butt out of your house to go do that thing. Or get yourself a dog, and that dog makes you walk every day, and you meet other dog owners. Or, one big one, I think, is sort of figuring out how to just gather a little more. And it may be that you make something ritualistic, like we do this once a month, or you kind of build those things into life. Those are really, really helpful. And then here's one thing a client of mine did that I loved. She moved to Boston, knew nobody, was feeling pretty lonely, and I didn't even know how to start to create friendships here. So she got on some local Meetup thread or Reddit or something and just said, "Hey, is there anyone who doesn't want to leave their house, wants to wear pajamas, read books, and pet cats, but is willing to meet me at a coffee shop and talk about and put a book?" And within an hour, 50 responses. People are like, "Yes, me, please. I love cats and I don't want to leave my house, but I need to leave my house." Mm-hmm. So she started a book club in Boston with not all 50 came, but it was something like 8 strangers who now meet a coffee shop and talk about books. And there's, I don't know if you guys know this, but there are coffee shops with cats in them, and you could just pet cats. Yeah. So they went to a cat coffee
There's
shop.
a whole video.
So anyway,
there's a video game someone's been trying to get me to buy called Cat Cafe, where you manage your own cat cafe.
Of course, see?
Yeah. So I assume that means there's real ones around there. So
they are real. They are very real. So my advice to this person is look around your first tier and see if there's any shoring up you need to do, right? And work with what you've already got, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a friend you really click, but you haven't connected in a while, reconnect. And then move to your physical second tier, the one where you share life space with, and see if there is not an organization that already exists that you can participate in. The more surfacey, the better, because people are going to bond with hard stuff. They're going to bond with all the amazing oxytocin that gets released when you're doing good. You bond over the Vikings losing the most ridiculous game you've ever seen, whatever. Go somewhere public and be with people if you are capable to do that, and be proactive about it, right? Get yourself obligated a little bit somewhere else, and start to build that second tier. And then the third tier is great as long as it's healthy for you, but ask yourself, is this one thing I'm spending 4 hours on every single day healthy for me when there's zero interaction with another person and I need more of that, right? So, maybe think that through. I will only game with a buddy, and then, or I'll be outside with animals, dogs, people, sunshine. You know?
Yeah, playing with randos sucks anyway, so I like that.
Right? So play with friends. Listen, I might be the only therapist on the planet who is all about everyone gather and play video games together. I really do think that is a valid social outlet that challenges, because that delivery system is so effective. You're going to do it alone a lot more than you would, garden alone.
Especially very like cooperative experiences. Those can be very bonding. We have this raid team on Fridays where we do a very difficult task, and we do it with coordination and respect and frustration, and then let's fix it, and don't forget we're here to have fun, and like all these moments of like human interaction that are very difficult to do outside of that. So I mean, there's value in that for sure, right?
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Work on your tiers, everybody. Be an S tier at tier 3 is what we're looking for. I think that'd be great. Also, I was going to say, we have Wendy's a final thing from Wendy, the AI Wendy. I would like to play real quick before you go. Okay. One final note from Wendy. I'm sure this is all nothing but truth, and you can take it as from God's ear to Mickey Mouse's mouth, or however that phrase goes. I don't know how it goes. Here it is right here.
I think the world is flat and there is nothing you can say to change my mind. Also, aliens exist and they eat babies.
Jeez, really coming out strong.
Dang.
Like no other AI that I've heard. It sounds as dead on as that one.
That sucks.
It does
I do
suck.
not like that.
It does suck. It does suck.
I mean, I do sound a little robot-y, but not bad.
Not bad.
That needs to leave some messages for your husband on his voicemail.
Yeah. Plus, that one was trained on a different mic or like a phone or something, so it's a little bit. It's going to have that cadence to it, so it's a little bit
tinny.
different.
Yeah.
But anyway, there you go.
Guys, guess what? I've never told you this. I mean, I've never done this. I have a confession really quick.
Go. You think the world's flat?
Mind.
All right, go. Flat earther.
We have done this for 12 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm big on streaks, and my streak is I've never listened to the show.
Yeah, I've never heard the show, right?
Never heard the show.
That's
never
kidding.
listened to you two ever.
Yeah.
I've never listened to anything. And I after our thing last week, I was like, I'm not sure what I said. Exactly.
Did you go back? Did you go back and listen?
So I listened, and
You broke your streak.
it was a 12-year streak, and I regret breaking it. But I did realize a couple things. I cannot stand how I sound.
Oh, funny.
That's a lot of people. Don't feel bad.
I mean, I get it.
exactly.
I understand it, but I kept thinking, no. Why would you keep inviting me back? I sound
That's so
awful.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Also, the streak thing. My gosh, I was hoping that someday you'd be able to help Scott with his clutching to streaks. And no, you're a physician. Heal thyself. I mean, we're in a situation where
I don't know why the
I did it.
Johnsons like streaks. We all do like our streaks. And,
We do. I did not eat a whole hamburger for, let's see, probably 15 years.
See, that's great. See, now
I would leave the last bite because it was bad luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Like I have similar streaks. I have some of them exact streaks. Like I know the dates and times and things like that. The barf streak's the worst one because I just, I don't want to keep that streak alive, but I have it. It's 20 years old. I haven't puked in 20 years and I don't know what to do to
That is
make
a
it
dream,
happen.
dude.
Yeah. It really is. Like I hate it. I hate throwing up. And I still, you know what? I still have a vision whenever I feel like I'm sick enough that I should barf. I have a vision in my head of Dad running down the hall with you with his hand over your mouth to get you to the can.
Barf
And it was,
everywhere.
and it was because you were having your, it's when you had your mad ball thing.
Yeah.
You were
I
really
was sick a lot.
very sick
Yeah.
during that period. Maybe that put me off. Maybe that's what started the streak. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah.
Anyway,
We uncovered an event from my childhood that scarred me forever for exorcism movies today. So I feel like we've had two breakthroughs today.
yeah.
Yeah, look
Yeah.
at us.
Yep,
Look
Brian-
at us. Brian,
Brian-
should we tackle that sometime? Are you okay?
I'm done now. I feel like I've got it. At least I know the source of it. So
Yeah, it helps, right?
All you have
Sourcing
to
helps.
do is now, Brian, you just got to go binge all the exorcism movies you can find and
right,
get it out of your
exactly.
system. You'll be fine. Literally, you've exercised your exorcism fear. You've
There we
done it.
go. It's the power of TMS compels you.
There you go.
The power
Nailed
of TMS compels
Nailed it. Wendy, it's always a pleasure. Quick reminder to folks, go sign up for that newsletter, knowbetteryou.com. That's KNOW, better letter u.com. And check out the site in general. It's all very nice over there. I like it a lot.
It is very pleasing colors.
So
It's a
much.
great.
You should sign up for emails, Brian.
Yeah.
I already did. I'm in.
Oh, good. Okay.
It's
Okay.
me you're
All right.
waiting for now. But look at this free webinar Wednesday, January 22nd at 2 p.m. CST. How can you miss on that? Don't miss it.
You cannot miss on that.
You can't.
Now I sound like a robot.
Yeah.
Cannot. I'm Wendy, and you should listen.
Yeah, if you're ever next time you're out of town,
On that.
the next time you're traveling on a Thursday, we'll just use the AI to fake up a whole
Oh
segment.
my god!
Exactly.
Actually, real quick, I am traveling next Thursday, so
Oh,
you could do it.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
You can do it. Let's
advice
send.
from faux Wendy.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I might listen to that one and break my news streak, which is I'm never listening again.
Oh, I would if I were you. I'd listen. Yeah.
I will double
You
check.
might want to check that out. All right. Well, have a fantastic
thanks, guys.
week. And then wherever you're going, have fun there. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye now.
Bye.
I'll see her in, March something. I forget the day.
Yeah. Look at you.
Yeah, look at us
Arizona.
doing brotherly, sisterly meetups.
Yeah.
Okay, we have not much else except we're going to rip through what shows are happening today, that kind of thing. Coverville happening today?
Coverville's happening today. You might not like Elvis Presley. I'm lukewarm on Elvis Presley, but I like people covering Elvis Presley. And my God, you're going to hear some great covers of Elvis today. Folks like Tommy Prophet, Beats International, Larkin Poe, the lead singer of Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Holly Johnson, Chris Isaac, Queen. Queen is not known for doing covers. They've got a couple Elvis covers themselves. And the Kings of Cash, a lot of great covers of Elvis Presley, who would have turned 90 this week.
Yeah.
Maybe still did. If he's, he might actually be in hiding.
Yeah, if the rumors are true and he's still hiding out somewhere in Tennessee.
You might see him in Arizona. I feel like that's where Elvis would hang out, is Arizona. I
Good
don't know.
clean air. Yeah, all that.
Yep, exactly. That'll be in just about an hour at 12 o'clock Mountain Time, twitch.tv/Coverville. I'm capitalizing on a stupid new location that they've got in Snap called The Peak, where you steal the leftmost card from your opponent's hand. So I'm putting a shit card as the leftmost card in my hand and making them take it. And so that's the hand I'm going to be playing
Nice.
in Marvel Snap today.
Check that out. Music fans and Snap fans got everything they need right there.
That's right. Everything you need.
If you're more
But other
inclined,
video game fans.
yeah, if you're into video games in general and you're like, I can listen to Coverville later if you want. Or, you know what? Either way, do it either way. Listen to Core later. Doesn't matter. But either way, we're recording at the same time. Ours is at noon as well. Frogpants.com/TV. Core today will dissect what we heard from Nintendo. And you know what? It turns out it's not that different than all the leaks. So
No, pretty right on the money.
little
Yeah.
anticlimactic, but it's okay. We'll still break down what we think and talk
There
about
we
that.
go. The leaks, right? We were talking about the leaks at the top of the show. How do you feel about those leaks now? Would it, did it lessen your enjoyment of the actual announcement?
I know Nintendo's not happy about it, so
Yeah.
we'll see how we feel. Anyway, that'll be today at noon as well, and TMS Friday tomorrow for patrons. Brian, give you a sneak peek of what was coming up. Look forward to that tomorrow. Some trivia, some movie stuff, some Monica, all the things you want, and nothing you don't. All right, it's like a nice, healthy meal of extra TMS for patrons.
Right.
If you're not
Sign
a
up
patron, you can sign up today, man. Like right now.
Do it today, and then you'll get the link, and you can go watch tomorrow. Be here live, and then or get the replay.
That's right. Patreon.com/TMS. And then this weekend, Film Sacks covering Saturn 3, the fantastic third film in the sequel series of Saturn movies. Just kidding. It's just a one-off. And I've never seen it. It looks like trash. I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited.
It is trash. I watched it. That seems like the only reason for this movie is to have a topless shot of Farrah Fawcett.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right, then. Not Kirk Douglas. He's not topless as far as we know.
He is, actually. There's naked Kirk Douglas, too.
Sweet. Do we get his bum? Do we get a bum shot? Man bum?
And it's funny. The dimples in his bum are smaller than the one in his chin. It's really weird.
So
Yeah.
he could fit his whole son in the one in his chin. So
Wait, stop it. You're going to spoil my my song parody for the...
Oh, yeah. Another reason to get that episode. Check it out. That's this weekend, filmsack.com. Everything else for this show is at frogpants.com/TMS. Request your songs, contact us, get all the things, information about the film fest, all that stuff is there. Get it today. That's going to do it. Brian, let's play a song and leave.
This is going out to Leslie Victorine over there in LA. She says, "We're safe. just heartbroken about our surrounding community going up in flames. No specific date for my request, but anytime this week would be great. Thanks, signed Leslie. And this was one I wanted to make sure I got to this week, because she's one of those people that we have to keep checking in on, and all the people in our lives there and in our community who are in or around LA, and we just got to make sure they're doing okay. So far, I think everybody's doing all right. So,
yeah, I think we got really lucky in terms of our community. Doesn't lessen the damage for everybody else, but it is nice to hear that most of you, if not all of you, I hope we've heard from everyone, but most of you seem like you made it all right.
For sure. Praise Xenu for all that.
Yeah.
She wanted to hear a cover of I Love L.A., the song by Randy Newman. I love L.A. personally, so I support this song. This is a cover. My favorite producer of all time is a guy named Greg Kurstin, and you know him from The Bird and the Bee. He is the bee. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's really his title, but in the musical group The Bird and the Bee. But he's also produced albums for Pink, for Lily Allen, for Tegan and Sarah, for Sia. Like, all of your favorite stuff by those artists is probably from the album that Greg Kurstin produced. And if you go even further back, he was in a band called Geggy Ta, that had a song that was all I want to do is to thank you.
Oh,
driving in my car.
I love that stupid song. I thought
it's such a dumb
great
song. That is one of the first things you ever heard from producer extraordinaire Greg Kurstin. Anyway, he every year gets together with his friend, a guy named Dave Grohl. I don't know as much about him as I do Greg Kurstin.
Small indie guy,
some band or something. Yeah, maybe some Seattle thing. I don't know. Anyway, he and Dave Grohl and Greg Kurstin get together every year for 8 nights and do the Hanukkah sessions and record a bunch of covers. This one, it came from the 2022 and features Jack Black, Dave Grohl's daughter, I think Karen O from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. I'm trying to remember who else is in this lineup. Anyway, it's a ton of folks in this. It's a cover of I Love L.A. Here are Dave Grohl and Greg Kurstin.
Those pants are made for frogging, if you know what I mean. I actually don't. Frogpants.com.
You ready to take a plane ride?